Yes, I put this to him because it was quite clear over the weekend that as the files were released and people were going through them, we know that Keir Starmer said that Andrew, formerly Prince Andrew, should, in theory, speak to the congressional committee, which has been looking at lots of the Epstein files. So I asked Peter Mandelson about this, and his reply was quite non-committal in the sense he said, "Well, actually, the committee know as much as I do, and he's not sure what he could add to it." Now, if you buy what Peter Mandelson is saying, which is on the points I pressed him on, which was several of the damaging disclosures, not everyone, because they weren't all out, he is saying he doesn't remember most of them. Now, were Peter Mandelson to appear at a congressional inquiry and say he doesn't remember most of things, it might not add that much to it. If he has more to say, then it's a different matter. But his argument was the Epstein files disclosures have been good for the victims in terms of trying to get transparency out there. But again, a recurring theme in this interview, and readers and listeners can make up their own mind here, is he still insists that while Downing Street was surprised, he's also been surprised looking back at something that happened over 15 years ago and barely recalling those conversations.
Finally, Katy, following all your conversations with Peter Mandelson over this period of time, how would you sum up his mood?
Look, it's been quite a lot happening in a short period of days. If I think back to arriving in Wiltshire for the initial interview and then what has happened since Friday, now you look at the front pages talking about a potential police investigation. I don't think this is anywhere near what he thought was going to happen a week ago when we first sat down. So I wouldn't want to speak for his mood in this moment. I think he is clearly surprised by what has happened in the past couple of days and potentially surprised at some of the things he was saying in those emails. And that is something that he's going to be dealing with the consequences of, whether it is refuting them, as he says he will on some of those payments, whether it is explaining some of these things that now could leave the realm of almost public opinion to something more impactful in terms of criminal proceedings. So I think we're in a very different world than the one when I first arrived to begin this interview.